memory I have is a memory of when I was a little kid. I'm actually originally born and raised in Colombia, South America. And so I grew up and I was raised in one of the most dangerous, left alone neighborhoods in the city, Medellín, which is, the city of Pablo Escobar. And we all know, of the story about him and what happened back in the days. So I was a kid and, having no opportunities at all, having no possibilities to even study, because the public school in my country is not really that great. So yeah, it was really complicated back in the days. We were not a rich family, we were a very humble family, who, was trying to survive, because there was a lot of violence back then. There was a lot of conflict with the FARC, and the guerrilla. I don't know if you guys are familiar with
what is that actually?
It's like a group of people that is against the government.
Okay.
And, the only way they have to, express their discontent and how they feel about the injustices and the corruption in politics in our is with violence. So they do all kinds of things like bomb places, kidnap people and all kinds of things like it happened back in the days with Piedad Córdoba. She got kidnapped for a long time, and when she actually was released, her hair was like all the way down to her ankles. So,
wow.
All this kind of things, and so it was difficult. There was nothing good around me. It was all dirty. It was all negative. No possibilities. No nothing. And so I was able to find a light at the end of the tunnel with learning English, which is which was my first love back in the days. So having no resources to get into school, to pay like a course for that, I started learning by myself, and I'm a self-taught. I learned it with books, dictionaries, which was the hard way. Back in the days, we didn't have no technology, no social media, so I started it, and I did it, and with the time, I was able to, perfection it, to say it like that. I mean, I know I still have to learn a lot, and I don't have the best English in the world, but this actually helped me get out of all these predicaments that we were going through back then. And, nowadays, I'm living a better life. I'm in charge of my family and my mom and grandma, and I help, a big part of my family as well economically. And, this is one of the experiences that I wanted to share, because it doesn't really matter where you're from or what circumstances you're in. Like as long as you really want it, and as long as you really have the intentions to change your environment, you can actually do it no matter how hard it looks. You have the capacities and the abilities to create.
That's amazing. A question for you. Of course, it wasn't like, okay, one day it's rough and then one day it just all changes. It's a process, right? So what did that process look like for you? Did you have difficult days? And if you did, how did you get over those days to continue to push forward to where you are today?
There was a lot of difficulties because, like I said, monetarily, like economically, we were not doing really good back then. We had enough to leave, and to feed ourselves and to maintain us, but it wasn't really like we had too much, exaggeration. So that was one of the first roadblocks that we had. Plus, all this violence and all these things that were going on our way to school, we would see dead bodies, And I was like, I'm talking about, I was like about 10 years old, and me having to see all these things, it was really hard, and even though this was going on, I still was like, this is not where I belong, This is not where I have to be for the rest of my life. Something else that was really hard for me was the fact that, we live in a Spanish-speaking country and you pretty much have nobody. I mean, I had nobody to practice, nobody to utilize the little skills that I had actually acquired back in the days. And so that was another roadblock. So I had to do it the old style, the old way. And, it didn't really matter to me because I was so obsessed and I was so possessed by this, this desire of being somebody in life or at least, come out of this situation. I still did it. Any of the difficult parts of the process, I was able to do it. And right now I speak also Portuguese and I'm learning German. So, I'm looking forward to have a better future. I'm really still far from where I want to be, but, I wanted to share this message because there's a lot of people out there that like to live their life complaining and crying about their situation, their circumstances, but they're not actually doing nothing to see that change. And we're so powerful that we even ignore the how powerful we are and how our mind can actually create anything that goes through it.
That's so good. And I think there's a time to, acknowledge that the situation you're in is not a good one. There's time to cry. There's a time to, lament over your situation. But there's also a time, as you said, to like pick yourself up and to stop feeling sorry for yourself and to move forward in the abilities that God has given you. And that's what you did. And that's so amazing. Now you're like learning so many different languages, probably surpassing a lot of English speaking people like myself. I only probably know a little bit of French and English, but you're like, you didn't even know English and now you know like what, 4 different languages or something like that?
Four because I was speak Spanish.
Wow. So Spanish, German,
Portuguese and English.
Amazing. So how does this now translate into life today? So I know you're still on the grind. You're still pushing for the things that you want. How does this relate to like family life and like encouraging other people? How does your hard work ethic now translate into life today?
Well, it translated into, pretty much being in a better position economically, transforming my environment. As we speak, I'm right here in the apartment balcony located in Zurich, Switzerland. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, this was something I never thought of, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I did, but I was like, I never expected that. My mentality goes beyond limitations, you know what I'm saying? And I love to write. I'm writing a book about my life and how I was able to, come from nothing to something. And also I'm a rapper, so I love music. So I'm about to start jumping into the music industry little by little because I was so concerned and so focused on learning German that I kind of left it behind. But I'm picking it up again and getting back to the habit of doing multitasking. And this has been very beneficial to my family because I have a lot of my family members who are actually following my footsteps, who want to learn languages.
Wow.
And people that also little by little are coming out from nothing to something, And, the idea is to, in the future, being able to impact and motivate other people to just get out of the comfort zone, and put some hard work to change their life because it is possible.
That's right. It is possible. You said that you're not happy with where you are, but I think like the whole part of the life journal is being happy in every moment that you're living and every season that you're living. So I feel like as much as you don't feel like you're done yet, you don't feel like you're at your end point yet, it's still a beautiful transitional journey that you're in. The fact that you had gone through all the rough things and seen rough things, I think that it actually probably propelled your journey all the more. There's some people that lived a comfortable life as a child and their ambition is different than what yours looks like. You know what I mean? I feel like the hunger, you just have more hunger in a sense because you came from a place that, was detrimental. And in comparison to people who lived a comfortable life, they probably don't feel the need to fight as hard for what they want. So I think my question was going to be like, do you wish that the things that you've gone through never happened, or are you okay with that because it led to a greater outcome for you?
I mean, it has definitely never went through my head or to my mind to think about if it would have been different, or if I would have changed anything that I went through, because what I went through have basically made me who I am right now. Right. Of course, my decision, my determination, my discipline, my willing, was part of that. But, I really do think that processes are beautiful. And when you love with the process, when you fall in love with the process, you really enjoy more. And when you achieve certain things that you set yourself into, you feel more comfortable, and you feel more grateful for what has happened, So, I mean, I know every situation is different. People say every human being is a different world. Mm-hmm. But, I really do encourage people who's listening to this audio that, whatever their situation is, they need to stick their chest out and handle it. There's nothing impossible, that whatever it is that they're going through, they can get over it, because we got the power within our hands, and it doesn't really matter what the situation is. You can get anywhere you want, like I'm pretty sure like the president of the United States or Cristiano Ronaldo never, he never thought he was going to, get to where he's at, but he did it, and I bet it wasn't easy for them to get to be to where they are right now, but they did it, they didn't have excuses, and they got to where they wanted to be. So I motivate everyone who's listening to this to, put in some work and get everything done.
Love it. Love it.